What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we are discussing the UFC fighters who are saving the company in 2025. That's right, we are going to be talking in a positive manner. You know, I know you guys want positivity on the channel. Everyone always says, you're so negative all the time, bro, you're just hating, or who are you, you're just some random guy. And all of that is true. So, you know, we're going to be positive because the UFC this year, overall, I would say has been more bad than good. We have not had that much to really get hyped up about. Like, obviously, you got your monthly title fights, but, like, I'm not going to act like the UFC is just being saved by the bog standard title fights that we should be getting. Especially when they are seemingly failing to make some of the fights that we do want to see. So, overall, the UFC this year, it hasn't been awful. But overall, the major things that they're fucking up have just made it not an enjoyable watch. But that's not what we're focusing on. I already did a video discussing the worst things in the UFC and the things that needed to change in a longer, about an hour long video. So you guys can go watch that as well on my channel. This is not going to be nearly close to an hour. This is just going to be a couple minutes. I got 10 fighters. At least one in each division. I got 2 in a couple divisions. And yeah, we're just talking about the guys who are making the UFC enjoyable and keeping some life in this company in 2025 for various reasons. Anyway, let's get started with the video. So, we are starting off in the flyweight division with my GOAT, Joshua Van. Now, I'm seeing a whole lot of people jumping on the Van hype train, and that's all good. You know, all aboard, welcome aboard. But it just will be known and it will be reflected and stated that I was the original Josh Van Glazer. I was glazing before the glaze was coming from other people. You know, yes, yeah, I'm aware this is competitive glazing right now. I don't want to hear shit from Guru, from Lucas, from Bedtime, from anyone. I was talking about Josh Van before all you motherfuckers, so I don't want to hear it. But anyway, they're all allowed to hype up Van too. You know, we're allowed to have as many people hyping up Van as we want. But I just don't like these bandwagon hype trains who act like they've... And I'm not saying all YouTubers are doing so, but like a lot of fans are going to jump on the Van hype train now. And it's like, alright, well now you're here. Now that he's taking a short notice fight and about to become the number 1 contender when he beats Brandon Royval at UFC 317. Now you're jumping on the hype. I was there in 2023. Bro, how many Joshua Van fans were there in 2023? How many of you guys were saying, yeah, this dude's a future champion after he beat Kevin Borjas? Because I can't imagine it was many of you. It took some convincing. How many of you, be honest, jumped off the train and said this dude's mid after he lost to Charles Johnson? Because I know there were a lot of people that did so. I didn't. I stuck by him. And I'm proud to be, this pause, I'm going to say it anyway. I'm proud to be riding Van to the top. Pause. No Diddy. No, but Josh Van, I'm looking forward to his next fight. Obviously, I thought we were looking at a potential Brandon Moreno fight, and I was worried about that one. Again, don't get me wrong, I would have picked him, but I was like, bro, Noche, 5 rounds Moreno, that's a step up. Like, that's the direction that I thought we were going in. But no, he's stepping in about 3 weeks' time from now, or less than that, 2 weeks, basically, about 16 days from now, fighting the number 1 ranked flyweight in the world. Like, that's nuts. Like, originally, when he said fight you soon, I'm like, okay, it's either Moreno most likely, or someone of any of these fights has pulled out. So I start thinking, I'm like, alright, has Tim Elliott pulled out? Has Kaya Sakura pulled out? Is he fighting in about a month or 2 months? Has Alex Perez pulled out? Has Amir Albazi or Tatsuro Taira or Steve Erceg or Tagir Bekov or Asu Elmabayev or Tamirov? Has one of any of these guys pulled out? Has Manel Kat pulled out? Sure enough, yes he has. And that was the one where I was like, yo, that's close. Because I saw that, I was like, geez. Like, I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense that it's a short notice opponent in some aspect, or a step up, but I guess it does make sense with how quickly that it was announced. Because you got to imagine they probably knew about Cap's injury, like, around the time of 3, like they probably knew about it a few days even before 316, and I gotta assume as soon as Van fucking won that fight, they got in the back and were like, yo, you good to turn around? It's like, check your medicals out, make sure you're not injured. You good to turn around? Would love you to... And also, I love Van, because Van's is the gangster. Who's doing this? How many people at 23 or whatever, he's 23 years old, he doesn't turn 24 until October. This dude's about to have his 9th, I believe, UFC fight. It was Jalgas, it was Borjas, it was Bunez, it was Charles Johnson, it was Edgar Chairez, it was Cody Durden, it was Ray Cereal, it was Bruno Silva. He's about to have his 9th UFC fight since June 2023. Bro, June 22nd, 2023. He's literally coming up on two years and a week in the promotion, and he's about to have his 9th fight. This dude's on smoke, and if he doesn't get battered against Royval, even if he loses, which he won't, even if he loses, he can still get in 2 more fights. Like, even if he loses, he could still fight again in, like, September, October, and he could still fight again in December. If he loses, it's probably 1 more, and if he wins, it's probably 1 more too, because if he wins, fucking all aboard, let's give this man a title shot. If you step up at 23 years old against the #1 contender on short notice, not just because like you're on the couch and you're just chilling, after you've just fought, so you're turning around. It's not like you haven't fought in a while, you take a fight. No, after he's just fought, this kid's turning around 3 weeks later from when the fight happened. If he wins that, I don't care what fashion it's in, unless it's legitimately like a brutal bullshit robbery, which I don't think it would be, because Van just doesn't have the style of winning a bad decision. Like, Van's style is just like, I'm winning this fight if you're not knocking me out or just holding me on the floor. The Royval fight is interesting. I'm not going to discuss that too much in today's video. That's not really the point. I'll discuss that in a later separate kind of 317 preview / like individual fight breakdown video. But Joshua Van right now, to my numbers, is the guy who's holding the UFC together in 2025. Not like holding it together, but like he's bringing some joy to it. He's bringing some cool moments. Like in 2024, in like 2023, you know, we got fucking Volk stepping up on short notice, but that turned out to be depressing. Like, we had some cool moments. We had the feel good Volk Islam first fight, you know. We had some cool fights, you know. And then 2024, we had UFC 300. We had Holloway, Gaethje, all that. We had Pereira stepping up and doing short notice cards. And this is the vibe we're getting, but just on a slightly lower scale. But it's almost more cool, because Josh Van's just a contender who's hungry, trying to make his way, buying his fucking mum a house, doing all that, and just being the representative for what fighters should be doing. These motherfuckers complaining about pay. Josh Van, in 2 years in the sport, has bought his mum a house. Like, I don't want to hear people complaining about pay. If you're complaining about pay, get active, brother. Like, get active. Anyway, Josh Van, shout out to my boy. Josh, get in the van. He needs to change his nickname to Get In The. That'd be funny as fuck. No, but Fearless is a good nickname too. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Venicide Olivera. Now, this is partially just glazed, to be honest. Like, I could say Merab. The boring answer here would be Merab and be like, oh, he's defended the belt twice. You know, he's kind of breaking out as a bit of a star here, elevating the pound-for-pound rankings. Apart from that, Jan hasn't fought. I can't call Sandhagen the fucking MVP of the division. He's won one fight by by fucking injury, by ACL tear, TKO against Figgy. Like Song Yadong, I don't think he's even fought, has he? Song Yadong beat Cejudo via fucking eye poke. Like, I can't really call fucking Mario Bautista or fucking Amin Zahabu. None of these guys are really putting on, like, big performances. So I gotta say Venicide Olivera, just because he fought Saeed and beat him, and I can support anyone beating someone with the last name Nurmagomedov. We can always get behind that. He's fighting Kyler Phillips, and this is more just a personal thing, because I fuck with Venicide Olivera heavy. And also, if it's not him, if you had to point to someone apart from, I guess you can say Merab, because of the title fights, if you can point to someone who's saving bantamweight, or who's putting bantamweight on the map, or making you excited about bantamweight fights, who would it be? Because I know everyone's excited to see Peter Yan back, but like, he hasn't fought yet. So to my money, Venicide Olivera is a kind of breath of fresh air at bantamweight. He fights like a fucking retard. We can support that as well, obviously. And there's not really like a bunch of crazy up-and-comers. Like, Wellmaker's about to kill Matinho, but I can't say he's like saving the division. He's an unranked bantamweight who's just kind of winning layups at this point. So he can get there for sure, and if he wins another like 2 this year, we can have him in that conversation. But right now, Venicide Olivera is the guy who's got me most excited at bantamweight. Let's move on to the featherweight division. Next up, a lot of you might not like this placement. You might disagree with having Gene Silva on the list. But to me, I don't care about his fucking potentially being a fucking Zionist Jew. I don't care, bro. Like, this dude's just a dope fighter, man. Like, at this point, we're just that starved for like fun, exciting featherweights who actually look promising. I don't care if this dude's fucking taking money from the Israeli government, bro. Like, he knocks people out and he fights cool and he clip farms. He's already fucking Aura Farm KO'd Melsik Bagdasarian, and then he had the hypest fucking build up to a non-title fight I can remember. Like, do you guys remember being more hyped and more nervous on the edge of your seat for a non-title fight than for Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva? Like, that was legitimately the biggest fight build. That was a bigger fight build-up than the main, than the co-main, than anything else on the card, than fucking Patricio Pitbull, anything on the card. That was the fucking people's main event, dude. Like, that was what we were looking forward to. That was the one where I'm like, I can't miss this shit, bro. Spoiler, I actually missed the last 3 fights of 314. Because I was overseas, I was in Vietnam, and we actually lost. I was unable to actually, we had to go do shit. I was unable to actually keep watching the fights because I wasn't able to use my phone or have data on my phone. But I made sure to catch. I'm like, we are not I am holding this fucking bus up. We are not leaving until I watch the outcome of Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva. And they understood. No, I don't know if they understood. I think they just thought I was weird. But I was like, sorry, I just have to quickly do this, and didn't really tell them what I was doing. And I watched Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva, and then I was like, okay. Like, yes, I'm hyped for the rest of the card, but I have to go now. I'm okay with missing it and rewatching it later, but I had to watch that. That's how hype I was for that fight. That's how hype all of you guys were for that fight as well. And yeah, Gene Silva, and he's probably going to fight again soonish. There's rumors of 319, there's rumors of like 318, 319. Who knows? Lopez, Pico, whatever, fucking everyone. Allen. There's rumors going around of everyone for Lopez, for Gene Silva, all these guys. Who knows who he fights? We'll see. But at this point, bro, if you're a fucking Zionist Jew, like, I can call you a difficult to respect person, and I can call you a bit of a scumbag. But I can call you a goy, I can call you all these things, but I can also just recognize that Gene Silva's a fucking dope fighter. Like, at that point, I don't care. He's not, like, rubbing down our faces egregiously. He's not, like, just being a cunt. He just appears randomly and fucking gets, like, collab posted with some Israeli guy, and it's like, alright, it is what it is at this point, I guess. Anyway, though, Gene Silva overall, I'd say, is bringing positivity to the featherweight division, and also, without Gene Silva, I got one more guy to talk about in a sec, but without Gene Silva, like, we're looking at fucking David Onama versus Lerone Murphy as a #1 contender fight, bro. Like, after Movzar, like, that's who's getting the title shot, is fucking Onama Lerone Murphy versus Yusuf Zalal or some shit like that. Like, the division is kind of, like, mid right now, to be honest, because everyone's just leaving. Anyway, let's move on. I couldn't leave without talking about Volk, my bald goat, Alexander Volkanovski. Volk, you're done. Volk's just, like, Volk is saving whatever division he's in. Volk is just always, when Volk is succeeding, this sport is just a better vibe. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for saying, like, even though the UFC's been kind of dead, and the card quality has been AIDS, and we went through the month of May, which might have been the most fucking insufferable month, especially with those last 2 fight nights, in recent memory, probably only rivaled by last May. They always make the May cards fucking abysmal. That's like, genuinely, you can like consistently say which months are going to be good. Like, June is always heat. Like, last year we were going to get Hamzat versus Whitaker as a fight night main event. It ended up being mid. But like, bro, June last year, we got fucking Poirier Islam, Cannonier Mavov, whatever the card after that was, I think it was Hamzat. There was an Apex card, which was Tyra El Bamzi, but like, that was, Tyra Perez, sorry. That was mid. And then we got fucking Saudi, and then we got International Fight Week at the end of the month. Like, last year was sick. In June. You can always rely on June to be good. You can always rely on May to be fucking historically terrible. August always does double Apex cards at the start, and then like a good pay-per-view, and then an arena fight night. That's what they always do. September is always like, who the fuck knows what they're doing. They always go Paris. October, you can always rely on them to do like at least an Apex card, and then they do the Abu Dhabi at the end of the month. But yeah, like, June is always stacked, but May's always shit. And segueing, I don't know what we're even talking about. Volk, though, Volk winning in April made the month of May bearable. Anyway, let's move on to the next fighter. Next up, Ilia Artorio. Top Toro. I'll slap the nails off him here. Little Maltese head. Come on, I'll scoop it in the neck. Ilia Artorio, he hasn't even fought, but the hype this dude's bringing is kind of nuts. Like, I don't know. And also, with Islam moving up, the aura, I guess, of Ilia coming up, just the unknowns, the hype with the fight with Oliveira. And also, am I wrong for just saying if Ilia wasn't here and we just had to deal? Like, Ilia moving up has made featherweight better because it's made that division look less fucking doomed to just be, like, have no hope of anyone else winning. And now with Islam moving up to light, like, imagine if Islam had stayed at lightweight. That's cool, but then Ilia stays at featherweight. But, like, imagine if Islam had moved up and then Ilia had just stayed at featherweight. And then we get no Islam and we just got, like, Arman versus fucking Oliveira 2 for the belt. And then Ilia stays at 45. So Ilia's moving up to pretty much fill the void of Islam leaving lightweight in terms of star power and having, like, a big guy, like, big name in title fights. Him and Oliveira, mostly Ilia, I think. Like, Ilia is, to me, I think Oliveira is probably the more casually known fighter, but, like, I think the majority of hype from that card is coming from Ilia. I think that's the main storyline of can he win a second belt. Anyway, though, lightweight is cool, I guess. You know, Joel Alvarez doing his thing, you know, pulling out of fights. BSD's saving the lightweight division with his marauding performances. Bahamondes is cool, I guess. It's just like, I wouldn't really pinpoint one guy at lightweight. It's kind of just the unranked back ends, like Ziam, Rufi, Alvarez, like Bahamondes. Like, these guys are the ones that are making lightweight exciting right now. Because I'm just not that hyped for fucking Gaethje Poirier 7 and Holloway Gaethje 3 and fucking, like, all these, like, Poirier Gaethje, Poirier Hooker, all this shit. Like, I just can't be asked at this point. Like, Chandler getting unlimited fucking top 5 opponents. It's Paddy, and then it's the back end of the unranked guys that are looking to break in. Those are the ones who are making the division exciting. Anyway, let's move on to welterweight. Next up, JDM. Now, I'll be the first to say it, I've been a JDM discreditor for a while, so this is not me pulling a guru and trying to jump on the hype train midway through or once it's already reached the station, you know. I'm allowed to say I like JDM, but I also will recognize that I've not been telling you guys he's a future champion from the get-go. But what I can do is say this dude saved welterweight from Bilal. And I can respect that, and I can be happy, that we have an Australian champion. I just genuinely didn't think he was going to make it to the top, like, very top of the sport. I said to be, like, top 6, top 5. To me, I took more negatives than positives out of the Burns fight. I'll be straight up. I'm not going to fucking, like, fence sit and, like, backtrack and do a 180 like so many other fucking YouTubers do, and they'll switch up and say, like, no, I always told you this guy was elite. I always supported him. Because if you didn't know, MMA Guru picked Cody Durden to beat Josh Fan, and now he's calling him his favourite fighter. And saying, I never doubted him, I've always picked, Josh Fan's my favourite fighter, I love him so much. Which is cool, but, like, clearly you've not been a long-time supporter of him because you called him mid after the Charles Johnson fight and picked Cody Durden to win. So, enough of these fake supporters, bro. Anyway, though, again, I'm not going to do the same with JDM. I like him. I've always, like, said his fighting style is awesome. I just didn't think he was going to be that good. Well, not that good, but, like, I didn't think he was going to be champion. He proved me wrong. And I'm happy because now we don't have Bilal as champ, so that's incredible. And I don't think there's a single fucking soul on the planet other than, like, MMA Joey and Kenny Okoye who are unhappy to see, and all those random fucking bot accounts who are definitely run by fucking pedophiles. Sorry. You can look at their profile picture and their bio, and you'll be like, yeah, you're a nonce, aren't you? Who were acting like Bilal got robbed. But JDM saved us from Bilal, and now we got sick fights. Now we got Islam JDM. Like, because I know we wanted to see Ilia versus Islam, but to me, overall, the positives of this kind of chain reaction of JDM winning, because we get Islam moving up, JDM, that's cool. We free up lightweight a little bit. We get fresh matchups for days there now. And then we also free up featherweight. Literally that, obviously, I know that Volk had fought Lopez before that, so that wouldn't have changed much. But it could have potentially been like a, what if Islam just stays at 45? Or if he goes up and he'd lost to Islam, does he just move back down? And then we're back to square one at featherweight. So JDM winning has saved like almost 3 divisions, to be honest. Maybe not saved them all, but it's freed them up and it's kind of livened them up and given us new interesting matchups. Anyway, though, let's move on to the next fighter. Next up, Azamat Bekov. I've got another guy at middleweight, but I just had to give a shout out to my boy Azamat Bekov, who is fastly becoming one of my favorite fighters right now. Again, we've only seen him fight twice this year, but again, that's better than most people. Fight 2 fights this year, 2 round 1 finishes, and now he's booked to fight Torres Finney, which in the Apex should be a crime. But he's just been hilarious on Twitter. He provided me with many community posts to make and put up, and give you guys some enjoyment for the ones who don't use Twitter, because you have souls and you have some hope left in your life because you're not just on Twitter all day. But I can take the good parts of Twitter and not force you guys to go through the bullshit and the OnlyFans chicks and the degeneracy and all that, and I'll just give you guys the positives, and I'll have to put up with all the other shit. But Bekov is amazing, and he is one of the best parts about the middleweight division right now. Like, I can say the obvious answer and be like, oh, Khamzat Dricus, but like, I'm trying to think just individual fighter. I can't be like, oh, Dricus is saving 2025. Khamzat's saving 2025. Like, no, I'm just excited for that particular matchup. If this was I've already done a most anticipated fights video. Dricus Khamzat's top tier, if you didn't know that already. If you don't know now, you know, kid, let me tell you. Because that's a badass fight. Anyway, then let's move on to the other guy at middleweight. Reinier de Ridder. Reinier de Ridder. The Dutch Knight. If you ain't Dutch, you ain't much. And RDR is proving that at middleweight right now, running through anyone he fights, going goof for goof, tard for tard with GM3, subbing Kevin Holland immediately, and then just mogging Bo Nickel, and finishing him with knees to the body in the second round. This dude provided us with the long-awaited, much needed, thought about Bo Nickel fraud check, which we all fantasized about and we were all very happy to see unfold. So shout out to de Ridder and his main eventing a fight night. This is about to be his 3rd fight in 7 months by the time it happens. Keeping up some pretty fucking solid activity. And yeah, de Ridder's one of the most exciting things. Like, the goofball DDP 2.0 storyline is kind of holding up middleweight right now in terms of like guys who aren't already there. Because we had like the bit last year where we were seeing a Mavov and seeing Borrelio on the come up, and now they're there. Now they're top 5. We're seeing Hernandez kind of try and make his way up a little bit slower than you probably would think, but getting there. But apart from that, we got Cannonier and Vittori and Delizia hanging around. We need guys like this. We need guys like de Ridder coming through. And even if he loses to Whitaker, bump him up a few spots or give him a... We're apparently seeing fucking... I don't know how credible it is. I haven't really seen it in many spots, but apparently Cannonier vs MVP is potentially happening. If so, I actually like MVP at middleweight. Not because I think it's stylistically favourable for him, because I think he will probably get out-grappled by someone. But like, I could still pick him to beat Cannonier, because I do think he's just way quicker. But it's just with MVP. It's the 50-50 of whether his opponent gets a hold of him. Because if they do, he's just going to get ragdolled, and it's going to just look like Kevin Holland fighting like Derek Brunson. But if he can stay on the feet, I genuinely think this dude beats everyone at middleweight. Anyway, though, we'll see if that fight does happen. Apparently, it's rumoured for 319 on that Khamzat DDP card, which would be cool. If that does happen, sweet. That'd be kind of interesting. I wouldn't have saw that coming. But I guess it's like, hey Cannonier, hey Jared, good fucking job, kid. You beat RoboCop. Now we're giving you fucking MVP. Better luck next time, buddy. We'll see what happens though. Who knows? I don't even know who I'll pick in that fight if it happens. Let's move on though to the next division. Next up, light heavyweight. I have to say Yuri Pereira, I guess. He's fought once, and the Jamal Hill fight was like probably the hypest I've been for a non-title fight this year, I'd say, or one of the most hyped I've been. That was a sick fight. I was even excited. I was nervous for the build-up, just seeing them stare off in the cage, because that was like a year before that, or a year and a half before that. That was the title fight that everyone wanted before Pereira won the belt, when Yuri was recovering from the injury, and after Jamal beat Glover. We thought that's the fight we were going to get, but then Jamal gets injured. And we got to see it. That was sick. And then we're now potentially seeing Yuri versus Ankalaev. Who knows? Or Olberg, whatever. But Yuri's the guy. Like, I can't say Pereira this year. Overall, Pereira, sure, last year. this year he hasn't done much except to lose and then get into some weird Twitter feud where he tweeted something and then said he was hacked and then deleted it and did a whole bunch of weird stuff. Who knows what's going on with Pereira? He's kind of dropped off a bit with the star power, with the hype. We wouldn't stop hearing about, like, every other fucking week Pereira was in the news cycle. Now he's kind of drifted off into, like, what the fuck's this guy doing? But apart from that, like, Blachowicz, Olberg, Hill, Roundtree, none of these guys are really fighting or doing anything impressive. Mirzakanov's won a fight, I guess. Like, Zhang Mingyang, I guess, has KO'd Anthony Smith. Like, there's not really anyone at light heavyweight doing anything. So just for the sheer hype of Yuri, Reyes would also be an answer for the KO of Krylov. I forgot him too. It's Yuri or Reyes to me, the only two that are really doing anything exciting at light heavyweight. Let's move on though to the final fighter to discuss. Next up, Tommy Aspinall. He's the only thing that's keeping heavyweight alive. If Aspinall loses to Jones, or if he just loses in general and we get a Garn championship, shut the whole division down. There's no interest. Like, that's the thing that Jones has done is, if Aspinall fights Jones and wins, like if Aspinall flatline KOs Jones and then goes off to lose to like an Almeida or a Garn, especially if it's Almeida, wouldn't be as catastrophic. It would be boring because it's Almeida, who's not that boring, but it would just be like, what the fuck are we doing here? This guy's selling no pay-per-views. If it's Garn, if Aspinall hasn't beaten Jones and then he loses to Garn, then it's completely washed, because then Jones wouldn't shut the fuck up and be like, see, I beat this guy in 2 minutes, he just beat Aspinall. If Jones gets KO'd by Aspinall, but then Aspinall goes off and loses to Garn, it's just weird. It's less insufferable, but it's still just weird, and you could see the Jones fans coping and being like, the Jones that fought Garn would have beat Aspinall, and just doing some bullshit like that. But anyway, that will be the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Positivity in today's upload. This is 2:30 a.m. recording. I have a large bruise on my cheek. I got headbutted at Nogi Jiu-Jitsu wrestling. Me and a training partner both shot takedowns at the same time. I shot with my head facing forward/up, and he shot with his head just facing into my skull, so he just headbutted my fucking eyeball. So that's not great. I got a bit of a headache, but we'll be right. Anyway, just had to chuck that in at the end of the video just to let you know I do train, guys. But I did hit a nice high crotch single on him about 30 seconds before that. So my wrestling is good, guys. I'm basically Marab, but with finishing potential. No, that's a lie. I've never finished anyone before. I'm undefeated in competition. No finishes. Anyway, that'll do it, guys. See you later.